What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I told you guys things were heating up. I did a video after my post-fight Canelo Smith talking about this. Post-fight, Canelo claims that he and his team offered Triple G's team 2 times as much as they initially offered. And then he said they went as far as tripling that offer, and they're waiting on a response from Team Golovkin. Now, I'm going to break some things down, and I got to admit, I'm not in the back room negotiating. I'm not with Golden Boy or K2, so I don't know what was negotiated. However, if you're keen to what's going on and you get your antennas up, all these guys do interviews, so you can kind of put the pieces together and look for loopholes, look for inconsistencies in statements. What you said now, what you said like 2 weeks ago versus what you said 2 months ago, things of that sort. And I'm noticing some trends with this fight. A lot of people, even myself, I was under the impression that Canelo was the one that didn't want to fight. However, Tom Loeffler, Triple G's promoter, is doing interviews, and he says that the weight is not an issue. Golden Boy and Canelo confirm they'll move up to the full 160 to fight Golovkin. Now, again, myself and many other fans were under the impression that Canelo had these diva demands, and to my credit, there was a reason for that, because at one point that was the stipulation. At one point it was, oh, I'll fight him, but he needs to come down to 155. That was an issue, so it's not like I just made this up. But however, I was under the impression that these were still some of the topics that were being discussed. Maybe not even 155. Maybe Canelo wanted at 157, 158, 159, and Golovkin didn't want to budge. He wanted at the full 160. But again, Tom Loeffler's now doing interviews, and he's saying weight is not the issue, right? And he's not talking about the money split, rebuttaling what was stated. So that has to raise eyebrows of the fans, you know what I mean? So like it's like if somebody in the same equivalent position as me or higher, like a big name, was like, oh, Ego, this and this and this, and I know for a fact it wasn't true, and it's somebody who's on my level or higher, then, and someone's asking me about it, then I'm gonna clear the air. I'm like, nah, I didn't do that. I wasn't involved in that drive-by shooting. I don't know what they're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the situation, whatever I'm being accused of. But that's not what we got with the recent Tom Loeffler commentary, and that's kind of concerning, because I know for a fact if it was me and Canelo said on national TV that we offered him 2 to 3 times more than he's ever made, or our initial offer, and that is totally false, then that's what I would say. But instead, I did a video about it. Golovkin put, oh, I didn't know Liam Smith hit so hard that Canelo would talk nonsense. So I'm noticing a little Mayweather versus Pacquiao Jr. situation coming about, where it's like people are picking sides and people are sticking to the side that they wanted to cling to, or the fighter that they wanted to cling to. And it's starting to make me scratch my head and raise some eyebrows. Again, I'm not part of the negotiations with this particular fight. I'm merely a reporter / fan that wants to see the fight, but there are some loopholes and inconsistencies now with what Golovkin's saying, because like I said, many were under the impression that it was under 160, which would have not necessarily been fair. Technically 155 or above is middleweight, 155 to 160, but it was for middleweight titles. But Loeffler says that's not even an issue now. So you got to look at the purse. Canelo is clearly the A side. He had 51,400 and change in attendance in AT&T, right? And I heard Golden Boy let some people in for free. People might have snuck in. I heard they gave away tickets for $5. But still, it still trumped Pacquiao's attendance, because who knows, they could have did the same thing for the Pacquiao fights that took place at the AT&T Stadium. You know what I mean? Antonio Margarito or the Josh Clottey bout. However, I know they didn't give away 51,000 free tickets, period. You know what I mean? So what are we really talking about? You know what I mean? You think they gave away that many tickets for free? Highly doubtful. Canelo's the A side. Triple G, he's fought against guys without big names and done good crowds, but not that type of crowd. Like, you look, I was at his fight at the Forum against Dominic Wade. Not many people had seen Dominic Wade. That fight did, I want to say, 16,000 and change. So you do the math. How many times greater is 54 or whatever it was, 51,000 versus 16,000? You know what I mean? You look at Canelo's, you have to look at, if we're talking about star power and A side, you got to look at each fighter's best. And Golovkin only has one fight on pay-per-view, but I don't know the Liam Smith numbers. Every single Canelo bout pay-per-view wise has definitely done greater pay-per-view buys than that. And the most lucrative, most successful one that Canelo did partake in was against, of course, Floyd Mayweather, which did crazy numbers. It set live gate records that were only broken by Mayweather and Pacquiao, grossed a lot of money, right? His fight with Cotto did just under 1 million. I want to say 880 to 950,000, somewhere right around there. I don't have the exact figure off the top of my head. His fights with Lara and Angulo did 275 to 375,000 pay-per-view buys. Golovkin's fight with Lemieux, his only pay-per-view, and then they dropped him back down to regular HBO World Championship Boxing. His pay-per-view with Lemieux did 96,000 to 150,000. So even in some of the smaller ones with Canelo, again, I don't know what Liam Smith is going to be because the numbers haven't come out yet, but to this point, Canelo's lower ones, the Lara and Angulo fights, more than doubled what Triple G Lemieux did. So he's clearly the A side. So this, now we're starting to get, to me, it sounds like we're starting to get to the real brunt of the issue, which is money. Money rules everything, and that's what it's starting to seem like. It's like nobody wants to get left behind. Everybody feels that they're A side, or no one wants to get shortchanged, and they don't want to be stuck. So that makes more sense to me than everyone saying, "Oh, it's Canelo scared." I mean, this is so funny because it's funny how history repeats itself, right? You have a situation like Mayweather Pacquiao. After Pacquiao absolutely refused to do the drug test, then what happened? Years later, Mayweather offered him 40 million, and fans said, "Oh, that's not good enough." Now some of the same fans are saying that Golovkin should just take the 155. He should just take the 10 million. You know what I'm saying? But Pacquiao shouldn't have taken the 40 million, which is 4 times greater. So it's just funny to see what people argue. And see, the other thing is, even some of the diehard Canelo fans, they're like, "Oh, Golovkin, he's the B side. He should just drop down to 155." And a lot of fans are saying that because of pure emotions. They wanted Canelo's way because they're diehard Canelo's fans. But when Mayweather fought Marquez, and Marquez was the one moving up, then they say, "Oh, Mayweather's a bully. He's fighting little Marquez," right? Or when Mayweather fought Canelo at a catchweight, even though he moved up more pounds than Canelo dropped down, right? Canelo only had to drop down 2 pounds for that fight at age 23, which definitely doable. They said, "Oh, Mayweather just won because of the catchweight." But now you're arguing for something that Team Canelo's not even arguing anymore, which is the weight. It's funny, you know what I mean? Or, "Oh, Marquez jumped up and that's why Floyd beat him." But then you'd had no problem with Kell Brook jumping up to fight Golovkin. It's just funny to see all these double standards. But I just want to see the fight. That's what it really boils down to. I think it's a great fight. It's obviously a lucrative fight that makes business sense. But now, and I'm gonna wrap this video up, but as things go on, it's looking like there's more of a shared responsibility than many of us have previously believed. A lot of us were just like blaming Canelo, but now it looks like there's some deep-rooted issues, and it comes to money. People want parts of the back end, and I mean, to me, that's what it gets boxing fickle, is because you got promoters, and it's a lot of greed. Everybody wants to eat. Like, what about my cut? You know what I mean? Trainers want their cut. I mean, everyone wants money. That's their livelihood. Everybody wants to get the maximum that they can per fight, but it's starting to overshadow, and the fight doesn't get made because people aren't on board. People aren't doing what's great for boxing. Like, hey man, 10 million, I mean, that's a lot. And if Golovkin beats Canelo, then we could take it from there. His star power just grows from there. They don't even want to take that risk. They're just, man, I don't know. 10 million, and then I got to get my cut from that. You know what I'm saying? You guys do the math. What's like, I don't know what the standard is. Let's say 10, 15, 20%. What's 20% of 10 million? You know what I'm saying? That's still a lot. Abel Sanchez, Tom Loeffler, all these guys will be eating. So let me know what you guys think. Who's to blame? I think, like I said, more and more as information comes out, a lot of people were quick to discount what Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo said post-fight. Like, oh, bullshit. That's not true. But now it's starting to seem like it's true because, again, if people were speaking and they're on your level or greater and they're speaking lies, why wouldn't you correct that? I distinctly remember Andre Ward, when it came to his negotiation with Triple G, he said, we called them, tried to make the fight, and they hung up within 5 minutes. They don't want to fight. You know what I mean? And you never heard Triple G's side say, oh, that's bullshit. He never called us. They just left it like that. You know what I mean? So you guys let me know what it is. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.